Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm out on my 450MT and I just want to give you guys some feedback, and I also want to do this video for my keeping track of if there's anything that happens to the bike and so forth, and it might help someone if they've got the same thing. So last weekend I went out for a nice little ride early morning, so it was not hot or anything. It's UK temperature, so it's not extremely hot. Went out for a ride, and about an hour and 50 minutes in, the bike engine light came on. The EFI engine management light came on, and I'm like, stressed out, as you would usually do, because you don't know the innards of the bike. So stop the bike, check everything. I checked the oil, I checked the coolant levels, I checked around the bike, I checked the chain, I've got enough fuel in, open the cap, seat the cap. I also did check if the terminals on the battery is all seated properly. Everything around the bike looked perfectly fine. There was nothing out of the ordinary. It wasn't spluttering, it wasn't doing anything. It was just the engine light just came on. So I kept on going, finished my ride because I was quite far from home, and got home, and again, power down the bike, power up the bike, and everything checked out on the bike side perfectly fine. Also, the app didn't tell me anything. So the app under the system didn't tell me anything. Also on the screen, you can go under the info, and you can also see if there's any malfunctions. There was also nothing on that side. So everything around the bike looked visibly right. The oil level was at the right level, so it wasn't low, it wasn't too high. The coolant level was also in between that specific thing. The brake, I checked everything. The brake reservoir, that was all fine. Checked the tire pressures, not that it's got sensors in, but I just checked everything to make sure that it's 100%. Nothing, I couldn't find anything wrong. So I called up the guys from Bike Treads, and I said to them, listen guys, I need to, this light came on, what should I do? I had the option to get the bike recovered to them or just drive the bike there. So because I couldn't really see anything wrong with the bike itself, I took the chance and drove the bike there. So I just came back from it now, from the dealership, and had the guys there, super helpful at Bike Treads. If you ever want to buy a CFMoto or Suzuki, because they CFMoto and Suzuki dealership, booked it in for me on short notice. Drove through there this morning. It's about an hour's drive. They plugged in the bike, and they found that the airbox temperature sensor kicked up an error. So they reset that, and what the guy said to me, if it does happen again, let us know and we'll probably just replace the sensor. But yeah, I've never heard of that. So on all the forums and stuff I've read, there was no one ever mentioning that it's a airbox temperature sensor. So yeah, if you do get an engine light, it might be something in that line. The bike has got about 1,500 miles on now, so just so you have an idea. I'm a normal rider, so I don't really thrash the bike, and also it was quite weird that not had any errors previously. So this is sort of the first thing. So just a few things that I want to highlight while I was thinking of all these things, and this is more for, and I'll ping CFMoto a little email about this, but stuff like this would be nice to have a alert registered on the app on your profile, so you can have the error codes or whatever to send to a dealership, so that they can give you an idea of what is wrong with the bike. Because if it is a temperature sensor or something that is non-critical to the bike engine, I would like to know about it and make the call to drive to the dealership or not drive to the dealership, get it recovered or not recovered. The one is a bigger pain in the ass than the other one. I can get on the bike and drive. I also, take into consideration I have to take a day's holiday and all that lovely stuff. So it becomes a pain in the ass compared to just knowing what the information is and then making a call with that information. And it also keeps a logbook of what is actually happening with the bike. I know you can probably get an ODB plugin and then you can read the codes. I might have a look at that. If anyone has got any suggestions of what to buy, then please drop it in the comments below. The other thing as well that I wanted to say is, the other thing that is a little bit now, especially in the UK now that KTM is not part of the whole thing, and it's the quad bikes section of CFMoto that has taken over the support. So if you go to your CFMoto Recovery page, it just says it's under construction. So I'm also going to try and find out what is the CFMoto Recovery, you know, the Motability option, because if you do go and break down next to the road, I want to be able to know who I can phone and get the bike recovered or picked up or whatever. They did say it's covered by ARC via CFMoto and whatever, but I would like to find out then if there is any updated details for that. So those are the things that is sort of for me that I found with this whole experience. Firstly, as well, you know, or thirdly or fourthly, is you know, the dealerships is not really close by, and this is what I was also saying, that you know, I can go and buy in the Aprilia Touareg 660. You know, I really had a look at that bike before I took this bike, but I think it's about a 2-hour ride or hour and a half ride to get to the dealership. Now, that's not a problem if you live close to the dealership, but if you don't and anything goes wrong, then it's just too far to get it to the dealership. I don't mind riding to the dealership, but I would rather like to be riding the bike, not to a dealership and back the whole time. And my mate had it's got a electric mountain bike, and it's about an hour and something ride to get this thing fixed. And he had to go back 5 or 6 times, and that's an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back, and it's just a waste of time. It is a pure waste of time. So this is always why I try and when I do buy a motorbike, to make sure that the dealership is close by and I can get some support, because specifically if you buy into a brand that might not have spares and parts and all that lovely stuff, you want to have a dealership that you can rely on. And I think that is, the guys from Bike Trades has been big thumbs up. Thank you very much for the excellent service so far. So yeah, otherwise, you know, sitting on the motorway with this bike doing 73, 74, that comes to about 70 miles an hour. Oh man, this is just such a nice bike to cruise on. Just really lovely, so comfortable. It's just such a nice bike. It sounds nice, you know, the overrun, if you come down to a traffic light and the overrun and it burbles, oh, man, absolutely epic. I must say, from all the bikes that I've had, except like my 1986 800 GS, BMW 800 GS, that had such a character riding it, and I wanted to keep the bike for a long period of time. This bike is starting to become like that. Weird. I've only done 1,500 miles, but it's just such a nice bike. Every time I get onto it, you sit in the bike. It just feels like a large bike, and it sounds like a large bike, but it's so much more manageable compared to like my Tenere I had and something like that. But yeah, okay guys, that's my first report on the first error on the bike. It's been reset, so if anything happens, I will give you guys some feedback. If you want to follow along, please think about subscribing, and please think about you know, liking the video. It's all to share it out to other people. It doesn't cost anything, so please, let's grow my little small channel. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Boom. Go out and ride.